Hello everyone, I hope you're having a wonderful day, and today's video is about where should I live when I'm moving to northern Arizona. So in this video I talk about the top 5 or 6 towns that people often move to or from based on a few factors. One would be population, one is based on the activity I see when I'm doing real estate here in northern Arizona, and the other is just the inquiries I get from this channel. So if you're interested in moving to northern Arizona, or if you're not sure, should I live in northern Arizona, should I live in the Phoenix area, should I live in Tucson, this video is definitely something you're going to want to watch and see. Everyone, and welcome to the Living in Northern Arizona YouTube channel. Now, if you're new here, this channel is about everything you're going to need to know about living in the northern half of the state of Arizona. The ups and downs of what it's like to live here, to work here, to eat, sleep, and play here in the northern half of the state. If you're not new here, welcome back. Make sure you hit the like button because that lets other people who are looking for this type of information, it helps them to find the channel. Also hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you'll be sure to get notified every single time I upload a new video to this channel. My name is Dawn Dickinson. I am a real estate agent here in the northern half of the state, and I get people calling me every single day asking for help with their move to Sedona, Verde Valley, Flagstaff, Prescott Valley, and some of the other northern Arizona towns. I love it when people reach out to me because my best clients come from the YouTube video. So you could do the same if you're thinking about moving here. Go ahead and send me a text, an email, a phone call, or skip the line and go straight down to my calendar link below, which is in the description, and schedule like a 30-minute Zoom call or a phone call. And if you schedule that call, then you will be able to decide if it's a fit or if it's not a fit. So however you want to get hold of me or my team, we're here to help you transition the best way that you can to northern Arizona living. So in this video today, I'm going to profile 5 of the more popular cities and towns in the northern half of the state, kind of to make your search a little bit easier, to describe the differences and which ones are popular, which ones are not. Now, I'm getting this information largely of my own experience from living in the state. Right now, I live in Sedona, but I've also lived in Flagstaff or near Flagstaff, and I worked in Flagstaff. I went to northern Arizona, so I do Northern Arizona University. I know quite a bit about Flagstaff and Sedona, and of course the Verde Valley towns, because I live here and I sell here and I work here in Verde Valley, but also Pine, Payson, Strawberry, Prescott Valley, and a lot of the towns that I've gotten information from people just calling me and asking me questions, or from me watching the MLS and seeing where there's a lot of activity. And I do some research on the internet, that sites that tell you about the schools and population growth and weather and that sort of thing. So I'm going to begin my search, or I'm going to begin my video with telling you about Lake Havasu City. So I'm going to put Lake Havasu City as my number 5 destination of possible towns you'd want to live in if you move to northern Arizona. So Lake Havasu City is interesting because it's located on the Colorado River, which is the border between Arizona and California. So it's the western border on the river. Out of all these cities, Lake Havasu City and Kingman, which is next to it, are very hot. So the good thing about northern Arizona compared to the rest of the state is most of the places have a temperate and cooler climate, but Lake Havasu City is the exception. It's at 738 feet above sea level, so that's very low elevation, which is why it's so warm. It's got a population of about 57,000, so it's not a very bad place. Not a very big place, but there's lots to do there if you're into outdoor sports, because you've got Lake Havasu right there, right? So there's boating, skiing, jet skiing, all on Lake Havasu. Also to know about Lake Havasu is on spring break and like senior graduation, you get a lot of young people coming to Lake Havasu to party. So that's just something to be aware of. If you're living at Lake Havasu and you like to do the water sports, it's going to be very crowded those times of years. And it gets very hot. It's commonly above 110 degrees in the summer. The record high heat is 128. So now keep this in perspective. Phoenix, very flippin' hot, but the record high in Phoenix was 122. Lake Havasu, record high 128 degrees. It's very dry, only 5 inches of rain per year. That's very dry. It's even more dry than Phoenix, say. No snow at all. The median age is in the low 50s, and the median home price right now is probably in the high $350,000. Cost of living index, I'm going to get into it a bit. Cost of living index is something I find on one of the websites where they do an average cost of living for the United States is 100. So that puts it in perspective. Cost of living index in Lake Havasu City, 102.7. So it means it's like 2.5% higher than the average cost of living in the entire country. So it gives you an idea. It's not that expensive. It's about average cost of living to live in Lake Havasu City. Now I'm going to throw up a map so you can see where it is. So again, number 5 on my list is Lake Havasu City, Arizona. Now, I do have information and videos on most of the northern Arizona towns that you might be interested in looking for. So if you'd want to go through my channel, look through some of the videos, I have playlists about northern Arizona or the whole state of Arizona. I have videos about Sedona, Flagstaff, Cornville, Cottonwood, and all of the little towns that you might be thinking of. So be sure to go ahead and look through the playlist, the video list, and get more information on the towns that you're more specifically curious about. Now, number 4 on my list of cities, towns where you might want to think about moving to if you want to live in the northern half of Arizona is Prescott and Prescott Valley. Now, Prescott Valley is one of the more populated regions of northern Arizona. You'll stumble on it, one of the first areas when you're leaving Phoenix. So if you leave Phoenix, I'm going to put in a map. If you're headed on the I-17 north, once you get past that first mountain range, there is the 69, State Route 69 that heads you to Prescott Valley. Now there are other towns in the area. There's Prescott Valley, there's Dewey, Humboldt, Cordes Lakes, Cordes Junctions, Mayer, Chino Valley. So that little area between the Bradshaw Mountains and Mingus Mountain Range is what I'm talking about, Prescott Valley. Now, population, this is why I say it's populated. Say Prescott itself's got about 43,000 residents, Prescott Valley maybe 44,000. So between those two towns, you got like 90,000 people living there, and then the other ones I told you about as well. Now, Prescott is higher elevation than a lot of the places, 5,374 feet above sea level. So that gives you a much nicer climate than some of the other Arizona towns. Average summer highs in the 89 to mid 90s. The lows in the summer or in the winter time probably around 25. Record high for Prescott is 105 degrees, and you get a little more rain and snow. You go out 16 inches of rain, which is more than twice of what you get in Phoenix, say, and maybe 13 inches of snow. So not a lot of snow, but enough that occasionally you'll have a white Christmas. Cost of living index in Prescott is 115.7, so about 15% higher than the rest of the state, the rest of the country. I think the whole state of Arizona is about 102, so a little bit higher than cost of living than the rest of the country. Median age of Prescott is about 56, and the median age of Prescott Valley 44, so you're going to have a little bit of a variation between the towns. Okay, so my third favorite area, if you're thinking of moving to the northern part of the state, or this is a good area to buy a vacation home, is Payson, Pine, and Strawberry. So if you're coming from Phoenix area, say, you're going to take what they call the Beeline Highway. I'm going to throw up a map in a minute, but you'll take the Beeline Highway, which is State Route 87. It's going to be a long, windy road. This is probably the one reason I don't like Payson Pine as much as, say, Munns Park Flagstaff, because it's a long, little, narrow, winding road, 2 lanes some ways, 4 lanes another. So it takes you a little bit to get there, but it's a beautiful, scenic drive. So Payson will be the first town that you come to. It's closer to the center of Arizona, and a population in Payson is about a little over 15,000, elevation 5,003. So about the same as Denver, Colorado, say. Mild summers in the 80 and 90 degree temperature, low winters maybe 25, 22 inches of rain annually and about 15 inches of snow. Cost of living index is actually below the national average at 99.1. Now if you go another 15 miles, the same road will meander through Payson, then you get a little bit of a tree wooded area, and then you come to Pine. Pine is another tiny town, population of 1,600. Not as much stuff in Pine, mostly cabins and cute little antique shops and restaurants. Super fun. Let me take you back to Payson, where you got a lot of stuff. You got a Walmart, you got car lots, you got a Home Depot. Pretty much everything you're going to need is in Payson. Go ahead through Pine, say, not as much, mostly cute antique shops, country cabins, and restaurants. Now go ahead even more and you're going to get to Strawberry. Which kind of Strawberry? I think Strawberry actually has the same zip code as Pine. Another tiny little pocket of homes just above Pine, where you've got cute country cabins, cute antique stores, and maybe a few restaurants. So that would be the Pine, Payson, Strawberry central area of Arizona. Still very wooded, nice cool temperatures, but not as cool as, say, Flagstaff. So it's going to still get a little bit warm in the summertime, maybe in the 90s, but it's a very quaint little part of Arizona that you might want to consider moving to, or retiring, more so retiring probably than living full-time, or just have it as a vacation home. Very nice part of Arizona, nice part of northern Arizona. You definitely want to put that town in your list. So next one on my list, which would be number 2, my number 2 favorite town to live in northern Arizona, is going to be Sedona, Verde Valley. Now, of course, I'm biased because I live in Sedona. I actually love living in Sedona. It is a bit of a small town, though, so if you go to Verde Valley, Sedona, Verde Valley, right next to each other, and the reason I put them together is we're part of the same MLS, the same valley. We're between north of Mingus Mountain, but not quite as high as Flagstaff. So you've got Sedona, then you've got Cottonwood, Cornville, Rimrock, Camp Verde, and Clarkdale. Sedona has about 10,000 residents in the city of Sedona, maybe another 8,000 in the outskirts, the unincorporated area. You've got about a 4,500 foot elevation in the city of Sedona, but as you go and drive towards Flagstaff on the 89A, you go through Uptown, your elevation is going to start climbing. Now, I live in Village of Oak Creek, which is the unincorporated part of Sedona, still Sedona, but a little bit smaller elevation and a kind of tiny town on your way to the main part of Sedona. Now, the thing about Sedona is it's very expensive to live. We've got a cost of living index. Remember, I said 100 is national average. Cost of living index in Sedona is 142. Now, that's pretty high. That's saying it's 42% higher than the rest of the country. Now, Sedona cost of living is going to put it about equivalent to what it's like to live in Scottsdale. I think Scottsdale is almost the same, in the 140s. So, again, expensive to live here, but of course I think it's worth it because it's absolutely gorgeous. There's tons of stuff to do, and it's a beautiful place to call home. Now, the summers here, Sedona, right now it's June, which is one of the hottest months. It's been about 95. To me, I'm dying because it's 95. Summer average is probably in the 90s, but you will get the over 100 days, 102, 103, 104. By the solstice is when it gets really hot, but not horrible. You can certainly survive it. And in the wintertime, the lows are probably in the low 30s. So the thing I like about Sedona, of course, is the climate is bearable. It's not super hot like it is in Phoenix, and it doesn't get brutally cold in the winter like it does in Flagstaff. So you have rainfall in Sedona of about 23 inches, snowfall about 11 inches. Now, when we're talking about Verde Valley, now remember, Sedona is right next to Verde Valley, where you've got Cottonwood, Cornville, Camp Verde. Verde Valley has more like 67,000 residents, so there's definitely more people in Verde Valley. If you're going to do shopping near Sedona, if you need to go to Home Depot, say, or a car lot, or Walmart, the big grocery stores, you're probably going to head over to Cottonwood and Verde Valley. Now, there's a little bit lower elevation, probably about 3,300. Say Cottonwood is 3,314, so that means you're temperatures are going to be 10 degrees higher than they are in Sedona. The lows again will be in the high 30s and the higher temperatures in the hundreds. There's about 14 inches of rain every single year and maybe about an inch of snow. Cost of living in Verde Valley, Cottonwood is about 100, so about on par with the rest of the country. So I'm going to throw up a map, but this is an idea of where it is. Again, it's between Mingus Mountain and then the uphill that takes you into Flagstaff. Now, I'm going to bring you to my #1 favorite place that you might want to think about living in if you're moving to northern Arizona, and that is Flagstaff. So you might be thinking, Flagstaff, you don't live in Flagstaff. Why is Flagstaff your favorite? Well, that's because for years I had a home near Flagstaff. It was actually Mormon Lake, which is a suburb about 30 minutes out of town. Mormon Lake, but so I lived at the Mormon Lake and I commuted to Flagstaff to go to Northern Arizona University. I also commuted when I worked in Flagstaff. I worked in the Flagstaff office of Realty One Group for about 3 years, so I did enjoy living there. I ended up selling the place at Mormon Lake, thinking that I would downsize and buy a smaller home in Flagstaff, but what happened was that was right before COVID, and then I kind of got priced out of the market. So I am still planning to buy another home in Flagstaff. It's just with the changes in the market, I'm going to have to wait another 1 or 2 years. But I love Flagstaff. I love Sedona and Flagstaff. Of course, my dream is to have a home in Flagstaff, a home in Sedona, where I work and live in Flagstaff in the summer and in Sedona in the winter. So what's nice about Flagstaff, it's a college town, so you got a lot more going on there. You got a younger population because the college kids are going to skew your age down. It's a ski town, and it's got all sorts of opportunities for recreation. You could go skiing, hiking, mountain biking, go out to Lake Mary, and you could go boating or jet skiing or fishing, camping, all that super fun outdoor stuff that a lot of people love, and that's why they moved to northern Arizona. So the median age is 25, but again, that's skewed because you've got the students going to skew the age to be a little bit lower. Population right now is about 74,000. The average high, about 82 in the summer, and in the winter, I won't lie to you, it does get down to the 20s and the teens. Occasionally it gets below 0, not very often. I think 3 below is the lowest that I remember when I lived there, and holy crap, that is very cold. But most of the time, probably in the winter time, it's going to be in the teens for your low. The elevation 6909, so it's a mountain town. You've got ponderosa pine trees as your terrain. You got a beautiful view of Mount Eldon or the San Francisco Peaks. Beautiful place to live, and the cost of living index I see is 118. Although I'm a little confused about that because I think it's higher. What's probably happened is they've probably figured in some of the student housing when they came up with that number, and it probably skewed it a little bit down because homes in Flagstaff are very similar in price to homes here in Sedona, and of course Sedona cost of living is very high. Everything else in Flagstaff probably similar, and I'm going to do a video on cost of living in all of these towns also, so look for that. Those are coming up. Again, my name is Dawn Dickinson. I live in Sedona, Arizona, and I sell real estate in Sedona, Verde Valley, Flagstaff, and Prescott. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, please give me a thumbs up, and I hope you come back here next week when I post a brand new video about living in northern Arizona.